Hey everyone, the trader investor here again for today's recap on the IWM trade that I showed you earlier. The trade that I entered was pretty much a live trade. I showed you how there was liquidity. Once that liquidity was cleared, I was looking for price to continue its downward movement, and so I entered a put position right at the close of this bar here when we breached these lows again. At this time, there was no more liquidity to be worried about up or down, so price has already been manipulated, and I was comfortable going in. There were two areas I was targeting as a first trouble area, and so that first sign of trouble came around this low or the open of this very high bullish bar. So right around 8:45 at the end of this 8:30 bar, 8:45 Pacific time, I was looking at exiting some position here and also exiting at a position at this support line. This support line is came back a few days back. It's another liquidity. So knowing that when we have touched this area twice, there would be some people that might try to go long here. There might be people who might try to go short here. So I knew there was another potential manipulation that could happen here. So I actually took half of my positions off when we came very close to these opening prices, and I took the other half position right at the other side of this liquidity because I knew there was some potential manipulation. And just as I was expecting, price came down and reversed back, and we're even starting to break above the previous support, which acts as resistance. So seeing all of this combination, I was happy with my trade. And this is a very easy move. A dollar move in IWM is something that will give you, in 10 contracts, easy $500. So not a lot of complications. We're not looking for $5, $6, $7, $10 moves. We're looking at a dollar move with very limited risk, but gaining quite a bit from that movement. So that's what I was looking at, and that's how it materialized. So just a quick recap on the IWM trade. On a long-term perspective, now that we have gotten rid of this, in and out day trade, but let's look at what our long-term outlook is. So for that, I'll go to the daily chart. I want to look at the daily because that's what is going to set me up for the long-term perspective. And so IWM was in a good range this last few weeks. It broke out of the uptrend, broke it down a couple of times, and so we stayed in a range. What we are seeing here, we're seeing a series of higher lows. So higher low here. If this low holds, this low holds because we've already manipulated the liquidity that has been taken care of. So if this low holds, what I'm looking for IWM to do is break these highs so that we can resume a bullish trend. So from a long-term perspective, that's what I'm looking at. So right now, I'm just taking advantage of short-term areas where price is taking care of liquidities, and we have another set of liquidities a little bit further down, but I don't know if we will see that anytime soon or if price is going to resume. We only trade what we see. We don't predict and say this is where it's going, but when we come to an area of liquidity, we know it's going to be manipulated, so we're just careful. Sometimes it's not manipulated and price just touches it and does what the retailers want. I think the institutions sometimes allow that to happen. Otherwise, everybody will know exactly what to do at all times, and that's not what trading is. Trading has risks. We just minimize our risk and try to capture moves. And so from a long-term perspective, I'm expecting IWM to resume, but as I said earlier today, because of where the SPYs are, very extended, very extended. Looking at the 30 minutes, we see some divergence on the spies, a lot of divergence here, a lot of between the highs and the oscillators. So I'm expecting IWM, even though it's in a long-term bullish setup coming up for us, but I'm watching what the broader market will do before we are saying, oh, it's all good, back to green. I need to come back to this zone. So that's a quick recap. Short-term positions, how a dollar move is enough for us to make decent amount of money, and we get out of our positions and go for the next setup. Take care, everyone.